Hey, welcome World Entertainment, and the next Transformers movie has officially found its writer. Yeah, they're still moving forward with more Transformers movies. The funny thing is, the headline on this one says Rise of the Beast sequel in the works. Technically it is a sequel, but it's also just the next installment for Transformers. Now this is the official one that they are now moving forward with, because there are still multiple projects in the works. Let's dive into this though, shall we? By the way, I love the guy's name. I just can't get over it. And you have to be careful how you pronounce it. So, Paramount teased more Transformers at CinemaCon back in April without offering a single detail, and now we know at least part of what the studio meant. Jason Fuchs, that's right, the dude's name is Fuchs, the creator and co-showrunner of HBO's It, Welcome to Derry, has been tapped to write an untitled Transformers movie for Paramount and Hasbro, according to an exclusive report from The Wrap. Now, when you hear It, Welcome to Derry, you think that was a good show. He's also done a few iffy things, so he's one of those, he's a half and half. He's done like 5% good things, 5% bad things. So it says here, plot details are being kept under wraps, but per the report, the new film will continue the story following 2023's Transformers Rise of the Beasts, which ended with Anthony Amos, and Noah Diaz getting recruited by G.I. Joe in the post-credit scene. And yeah, they are still meant to be doing that crossover. Whether or not he'd be in it or not, don't know. So, by the way, if you are going to continue that story from Rise of the Beasts, you do have to raise questions about the G.I. Joe connection then. It's like, are you just going to ignore that? Or is this next movie the Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover? Don't know. So, in a fitting bit of timing, Rise of the Beasts is about to become free to watch for the first time. Paramount announced the film makes its exclusive free streaming premiere on Pluto TV beginning July 1st. Cool, I suppose. The producing lineup is the usual Transformers brain trust: Lorenzo de Bonaventura, Mark, however you pronounce that second name, Michael Bay, Tom DeSanto, and Don Murphy, while produce with Steven Spielberg and Hasbro Entertainment executive producing. Spielberg, by the way, for people going, Spielberg, he's been an executive producer from the very first one of these movies. So, Fuchs' script is one of multiple Transformer projects in development at Paramount, as Jurassic World writer Derek Connolly is separately penning the long gestating Transformers and G.I. Joe crossover movie based on the Hasbro timeline. Okay, so this next movie will not be connected with G.I. Joe, which means, is it actually a sequel to Rise of the Beast? Because this one sounds more like it would be the sequel to that. Don't know, this is where it gets a bit weird and messy with this type of stuff. So how the two projects relate to each other, if at all, remains unclear, though the Rise of the Beast post-credit scenes certainly seems to be the connective tissue. Fuchs has quietly become one of the busier writers in Hollywood. In addition to co-creating It, Welcome to Derry, his screenwriting credits include Wonder Woman, which is the first Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot, and his films have grossed over $1.9 billion worldwide. He's also currently writing the live-action My Hero Academia movie for Netflix and Legendary, and just launched his own company, 510 Productions. Now, I like that they put in It, Welcome to Derry, successful, Wonder Woman, successful, but they left out the couple of shit movies that he's worked on where you're like, oh god. So, which I can't remember. It's in another article that I saw yesterday. So, yeah, can't remember what the shit ones were. But they were kind of the worrying ones where you're like, ooh. So, the hire comes at a low point for the brand. The Michael Bay era was a box office juggernaut, with Dark of the Moon and Age of Extinction both crossing $1 billion worldwide. But the franchise has been sliding ever since. The Last Night dropped to $605 million in 2017. Think of it. That's coming off a $1 billion movie. Like, the last one was $1 billion, and then this one couldn't even get to 650. Bumblebee earned $471 million in 2018, and Rise of the Beast managed just $429 million worldwide in 2023. Then came 2024's animated Transformers 1, which, despite strong reviews, grossed only $128.7 million worldwide, the lowest total in franchise history. So, The Last Night didn't break even, didn't make money. Bumblebee just about did, but I mean just about. Rise of the Beast did not. It actually fell short. Not by much, but it did fall short. And yeah, Transformers 1 lost the studio a shit ton of money. So Paramount should also take note that 80s nostalgia hasn't exactly been printing money at the box office lately. Masters of the Universe is falling well short of its estimated 400 million break-even point. That number, by the way, in these articles keeps changing. So, whatever, it's not going to break even anyway. Unfortunately, it is an absolute colossal disaster at the box office. And Amazon isn't even bothering with theaters for another 80s icon, as the Henry Cavill Voltron movie is being sent straight to streaming on Paramount. The struggles extend beyond the 80s brands too. Mortal Kombat 2 has grossed around 128 million worldwide on an 80 million budget, short of break-even estimates of 200 million range, and even Star Wars is feeling it with Mandalorian Grogu, blah blah blah. We're just talking about fucking numbers for other movies. Mortal Kombat 2, by the way, this number, that will be going up because it's open now in Asia, and apparently it's doing quite well over there. So, and I told you in one of the other videos, can't remember which one, that number you won't see it change now on the likes of Box Office Mojo and the numbers and stuff. But the movie, you'll see the same with Disclosure Day. The overall numbers won't change on that, because once it leaves cinemas in the US and Europe and stuff, they won't count it, but it opens in Japan in October. So the numbers will go up again. However much, probably not much, but especially from what we're hearing about that movie, apparently it's a massive blue ball ending. So in that environment, a fresh voice like Fuchs coming off the buzzy Welcome to Derry might be exactly the kind of swing Transformers needs, because simply showing up with a legacy brand name clearly isn't enough anymore. But that's the problem though. Coming in with just a new writer and going, ooh, he comes off a fresh, brand new super hit and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but what movies have people gone to because of the writer? Nobody's got excited about going to a movie because of the writer. And how many of these writers that have worked on previous projects that you'd get excited about have come in and destroy? David Cope, or Cope, however you pronounce his second name, who famously wrote the first two Jurassic Park movies. That dude wrote Rebirth. It's like, yeah, you've fallen quite far off the pole of being great at what you could do. Again, this dude, Fuchs, he's wrote Wonder Woman. Yeah, great. He wrote it, Welcome to Derry. Cool. But he's also written shit with movies that tanked. So, you know, it's kind of one of these. Is it good enough? Don't know. But is the brand at this stage too damaged? That's the real question. It's not the question of, well, can the writer inject something fresh into it? It's the question of, is the brand name too damaged at this stage for people to care? You know, as soon as people see Michael Bay's name there, could that get them interested at this stage, being the fact that the franchise has gone in such a different direction? But people will also be going, oh god, not another one of these. Time will tell. It really has to be something special. It really does, for anybody to have any interest. But time, I guess, will tell, especially seeing as there's multiple Transformer movies in the work. God knows what we're going to get. But what do you guys think? Do you care anymore about these movies? Would you think a new writer could inject something new that could get you interested to go back, let me know. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe, hit that hype button, all that good stuff. Cheers. I'll catch you in the next one.